Bonjour, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Jezebelle Trinity podcast. We are going live. Welcome. My name is Trinity Stella, and I'm your host. And today is Wednesday, hump day. And I hope everybody's doing good, right at the tip of the week. Right, ready to keep pushing forward. All right. So this week we've been discussing a broken system, and how brainstorming ideas of how we could fix it, and identifying issues and problems, but noticing that even though those of us that are healing, we are finding ways to heal when the system isn't being accepting enough, not accepting us, getting the doors shut in our face and getting kicked out, not qualifying, not being in the system's box to get the help needed. Like for instance, just identifying problems, we're coming together on our own and rising. And another issue would be, I just wanted to bring up about transitional living homes. There's a lot of need for transitional living homes for people getting released from incarcerated from the Department of Corrections. It's just somewhere to get stable. And there's, because you're kind of, I can speak from experience because I was released, and luckily I had a place to go, but there's a lot of people that don't have a place to go. And so, yeah, or even like a drop-in center for us to connect with each other and see how we're doing for additional resources. What else? Resources, checking in, with peer support. But I'm going to add the link to the screen. So if you want to join the conversation tonight, go ahead and copy the link and add it to your browser. And you can come sit in the studio. You don't have to come, it won't bring you right on stage. You'll just kind of be there, and whenever you're ready, you can come on. So let's see here. But I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I really do. There's the link if you would like to join the conversation. Waiting for my co-host, Faye, Miss Wildcat, to kind of talk about things and discuss what's happening, how things are going. Last night I shared a little bit about how oppression works, how we are oppressing ourselves as a tribal people. I am Anishinaabe, and coming together, building bridges, building community, and working together, in order to heal. There we go. Hold on just a second. Welcome. Bonjour. How are you doing tonight, Faye? Welcome to the podcast.
Hold on, I'm trying to fix my thing here. Bonjour, everybody.
So yeah, I forgot what the heck I was talking about now.
I apologize.
Oh, no problem. Finding ways to come together How do we fix our system of oppression that we're oppressing ourselves? Because the only people that are happy with it are the ones benefiting from it, that
Yeah.
that don't want to look at the problems or the people that are being hurt. Because you know what? Honestly, people are dying because the system is messed up. And
They should.
it's scary to think that, to think my own children are our own kids when they have problems, that they could get caught in the same thing, caught up in the same cycle of oppression and uh, um, and receiving no help, not receiving the help they need, being ignored, or being called crazy. Acknowledging our pain, our struggles. How do we become vulnerable, open up that wound to heal it? Do we have to have more people recognize it, want to change it?
That's something that that's a big question, and it's not. I mean, we have these groups that are being set up, for places for people to go and be able to heal. For one, we probably need more groups because right now, as a community not being healed, it's very difficult for people to one find their way there because of part of their trauma is, I guess, the best way to put it. I hear a lot of people, oh, because this person's gonna be there, or that person, or this or that, and we, myself included, have to stop making excuses why we can't be to somewhere or something, and it's gonna take more groups because eventually those groups are gonna have to mesh into one, so to speak, and all learn to walk together.
Yeah.
And I just can't stress it or say it enough of how important this is, and of coming together. The more we fight each other, the more the system wins, is basically what it is. And our children, when you think about it, and this system ultimately wins the end game, they're not going to have anything left. There's
Yep.
not going to be anything for them.
So I wanted to ask, you said something about, I just want to bring this up. Were you part of that takeover at that one time? Were you in with that?
No, I was not.
Okay, I was just wondering because that happened a long time ago, and things don't need to get like that.
No, and that's what the people that I communicate with and have talked to, we're trying to try something new, something that hasn't been done before. There's different places in the community that we haven't tried to reach out to, or we haven't tried these new things that are being tried, and I really don't want to kind of boil surprise on that one, so to speak.
Yeah.
But that we gotta start trying something different because everything we've tried don't work. I can't speak for people, and maybe that hostile takeover, as they called it, wasn't. Maybe at the time it wasn't intended to be hostile, but it turned out to be that way because of a small group of people that were involved with the big group.
Do you remember what year that was? What year that happened? Wasn't it like 2008? Or no, it was like 2010? 11?
Mm, when I speak of years, my mind is very unclear with my 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 accident. So I'm not sure like what year. I just know it was a very long time ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 2010 that things got to that point. People were sick of wondering where all the money was going. And
Yeah, like we as a people, until we stop accepting the behavior and start taking back our own identities for one, and for two, we've been told things, but those things aren't so. There's something known as Aboriginal title, and it exists in the United States and is recognized by U.S. law and courts. It is the right of Native American tribes and individuals to occupy and use land based on continuous exclusive use and occupancy since time immemorial. Um, and these promises were made, and until we have to start by going through their system, and hopefully eventually we can get that change made while going through that process. And I know it can be done because I just went through something similar. Um, this last year and a half, and within that year and a half there were changes that were made on the state level, so I know these things can be done, and it is a very daunting system, as we spoke of yesterday. But it can be done. It's how would you say it? Like colonization colonization and assimilation is an invasive species, and if we can get rid of other invasive species, why can't we get rid of that one?
um so I was just, thinking about the tribal system, the internal system, like healing that, because yesterday I kind of shared a little bit how when you go to school, and you said it yourself too, I'm going off again, but how how the tribe was handed a constitution that was written by white people. What else were we supposed to do with that except become that? And that was in the 1950s. And what happened? How would we go from that type of constitution that was drafted by non-native people to a system that was drafted by our own ancestors? There's other tribes that go on their own system. I want to say like the Iroquois Confederacy.
Yeah.
And because we gotta heal ourselves in order to assert our sovereignty. Basically know who, like an individual. A person needs to know their identity to know where they stand in society, to know who they are.
Well, here's a good example, and I just seen this. I'm going to use this as an example. Children on the playground. When you see those children out there playing, and you see all of the ones playing together, and then you see one child who's sitting way off to the side by himself, quiet. That child, obviously something is wrong. Um, if you're in a abusive home or you're not in a healthy mindset, you're not taught to speak up for yourself. You're just taught to accept what is and adhere to those rules. So over time, these behaviors that we've learned to accept and tolerate and the things that we've been told are learned behaviors. We have to start standing up mentally, being mentally strong, and asserting that in your mind, and starting to believe that you are a strong person and that when we're put here, the Creator gave us something called free will, and everybody has it, and to me, that's been taken away by the system of our people. We don't have a free will of choice anymore. We're not allowed to choose to live in a family style setting, which is best suits our survival needs. It had since the dawn of time. That's the way we lived. So HUD was implemented in order to break up that resiliency in the home, and these family structures that we have now, they're not the family structures that we're used to. We're pushing our own family members away and out the door because of a system or a piece of paper that threatens you with your home if you have somebody living with you that isn't on that other piece of paper. It's a very threatening system, and until we quit accepting those threats or believing them without finding the answers ourselves, it's going to continue.
Yeah. And just like like you were saying, like an abused child, when you're at school, it's like what happens at home stays at home. Secrets.
Yes, and if you're a child who exposes that family for what's going on, you're the child who gets in trouble because you uncovered what that family worked so hard to cover up. And now you have people from the outside looking in, and they don't like that.
But then what happens after that happens? Does healing start happening, or?
Well, it depends if there's one person standing up or if there's several standing up, because if there's only one standing up, we know what happens. That child gets stuffed in the closet with the door locked.
And then
But what happens when you have 50 of those kids who are speaking up saying that this is going on in their home? You're not going to have a closet big enough to shut them in.
And then it depends on the people you are being vulnerable to. Can you trust them people? Are they going to help? Are they honest? And like if you're hurting, you're going to want to tell somebody that you can trust, that's going to support you, that's going to have your back, that's going to go to bat for you, that's while you heal. Because they understand and they see the pain that you're going through, and they see the hurt, and they see that somehow gotta help.
So in order to build that system of trust, we have to give them a reason to trust. For one, is confidentiality really needs to come back to be a key piece in helping people. When people come for help, they shouldn't be made to feel that you're going to go out and gossip about those things in the community, but rather taking that information to find the help that person needs. So that and maintaining that communication with them, and that's a hard one right there for
Exactly.
everybody
That's right.
nowadays. Is maintaining that communication or that open line.
Yep. I agree.
Where do we have where can we make an open line of communication for people that they can um they can find these people in time of need, because a lot of times that time of need is when majority of the world is sleeping.
Yep, feel safe, you know. And you know, the way we're talking, I was just kind of talking about, you know, we started as a metaphor, but you know, that's how the tribe is. It's like an abused child, you know. We don't connect.
The reservation is one big home of broken alcoholic drug addict promises.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to laugh or think it's funny, but that is
But that's
so
what it is.
true. And
That's what it is.
when I was in my using days, and I that's why I brought that up, is because that's what I used to tell my kids. You know, it's like what happens in our house stays in our house. You know, if the lights get turned off, you don't go tell your teacher. You know, and stuff like that, and that's how it is. Like you said, it's a one big dysfunctional alcoholic home. Alcoholic, I don't know, those are labels, but dysfunctional
And they are very
environment.
dysfunctional, and I'm not proud of it, but it, I'll use myself as an example. One of my kids growing up, I had spanked him, and it was an actual spanking, 3 times on the butt with an open hand. It wasn't what he went to school and taught the teachers, you know. So I had some visitors show up, and yeah, he got a little. I was a little upset about it, you know, and like, how dare this child have people looking on my home?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, how dare he expose what's going on here, and heaven forbid they find out the whole scope of what's going on.
Yep.
Because at that time I was not very well, mentally or physically, you know, and part of it was in fear for my own child. Does he know that he could be taken away, I guess?
Yeah.
You know, and that's another fear, that we shouldn't have to fear losing our children because our children misbehave, and we should be able to correct our children without infractions from the law.
And support the families that are taking care of that child. You know, like, why were you so angry that you had to, you know, spank him? Because we weren't handed parent manuals? You know, who the hell taught us to be parents?
We
That was
taught ourselves. We learned to be
exactly.
parents through raising our siblings.
Yeah.
You know, we learned to be parents through childhood. That was where we learned our parenting, because that's the way it was. Your parents, if your parents weren't gone drinking all day, they were working, and no matter how old you were left in charge of those little ones, and they better be alive when your parents came home.
But yeah, I mean,
So
so we learn by what we watch.
we learned survival skills very young, but we never were taught how to live.
And yes, exactly. That's things we pick up as we go along. And how do we change that? How do we teach our young ones to be the parents that we weren't?
Uh, through unlearning those toxic behaviors, and it
Yes.
doesn't happen overnight, and that's the kind of society we've become. You have to be patient with yourself, and even though you say you're gonna change, you're gonna have those slip ups, just like in using or recovery. You're gonna have those moments where things aren't what you had planned on doing, but it doesn't mean you failed. The more you move forward with the positive action, the less the negative action the less the negative action remains.
Yes. Awesome.
So
We
it's
lead.
retraining your brain, and you literally, here we go back to topic number one of day one when we first did this, is those self-talks. I see a person that goes and walks every day, and I know a little bit about what the trauma that's happened to that person in the last few years, and I can understand why they walk so diligently like they do, and I can only imagine that person is having those conversations in their head, trying to maintain their mental sanity or their mental well-being.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean that's it right there. It's like that's what we do is we lead by example. We show them the how you just said it in the beginning there. You were just right on, spot on, man. Leading by example. That's how they learn is they learn by what they watch. So I mean if people are lying and stealing and cheating and it's like what are you teaching your kids, and I didn't and that's part of being a parent that I didn't know that I didn't realize.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's if you have little ones in your life, whether they're nieces or nephews, it's another, or grandchildren, or somebody, or just some child that looks up to you, that's your chance to make that difference, and to do it differently. Think back to um think back to when you were a parent, and just try to reflect and think about the behaviors that you wanted to change, and make those changes in that child that's in front of you now.
Mm-hmm. Or be
Make a difference in that child's life, because that's going to make a difference in moving forward in our future.
yes. Be the parent that you needed. Be
Yes.
the parent that you needed.
And that's really funny you say that, and it goes back to like what I was saying about people in our community being so separated, and there's people that how do I say it, like there's people that don't care about me, and there's people I don't care to be in their space.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have to pray for them, and I still move forward even with those people in mind, in that healing, like
Mm-hmm.
I as well need to learn to be in these spaces without that energy.
Yep. Without taking it on.
Yes.
Absorbing it.
Like, how do we remain in uncomfortable spaces, I guess, without that energy, and be able to move forward and heal with others that I pray for them, because we all need it, and some more than others.
Exactly. Yes. And I love the way you said that before is like where you can, somebody attacking you with their words or something, but you can put yourself in their shoes because You were there once. You were them once. And
Yeah,
yes.
and I just kind of, like, I forgot what I was gonna say. I woke up too close to showtime here.
Oh, well, that was a good conversation. We're gonna, that's why we're kind of, it's a big conversation to have. And, it's a question to ask. What are our leaders doing? How are our leaders leading? Are they leading, with integrity through their heart or ego, through pride? Are they having those uncomfortable conversations? Are they allowing others to speak their mind without fear of retaliation? Are they leading with fear or are they leading with love?
Yes.
And I was just listening to something, that Brene Brown, that's just, I love that woman. She just inspired me. But her leadership, all her books, and leaders should really seriously do her training and read a couple of her books.
Who is it now?
Her name is Brene Brown.
Brittany Brown.
Yeah, she's got a few. She's got like a bunch of books. She's just had. I read 5 of them, and like one of them is called Daring to Lead, and they're just really awesome books. They're about truth, and having those uncomfortable conversations, and owning your shame, and just, it's just, she's just an amazing woman. I hope I get to meet her one day.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that subject that I think I was talking to you about earlier. What was that guy's name today? Well, the one that got shot. Oh, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was this guy's name, and
Oh, the one that got shot?
Yeah,
Oh.
apparently he was an activist, and he liked to do kind of what we're doing, bring the truth to light. And there were some people that didn't like it too much, but that just shows you the lengths that people will go to keep that broken home hidden.
To stay in denial. Yeah, to keep the secret, to keep the
And if that would say something about our society, that a person can't even get up and speak the truth or confront evil or tyranny, that there is definitely something wrong with society. And that's all the more reason that people need to get up and start speaking, because there won't be enough bullets for everybody once we all stand up and start speaking. Start speaking up for yourself. Start speaking that truth. Start speaking up against other people being ugly towards other human beings. Call them out on their behavior. So what if they get angry or upset? Then maybe they shouldn't do those things.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to, if you have something to say it to their face. People that say shit but can't say it to your face, that shit don't matter then.
I can remember I did something one time as a kid, and my grandma, she was on the phone telling everybody. I said, Grandma, why the hell do you keep calling everybody and telling them? And she said, why the hell do you keep doing dumb shit?
Right on.
Which makes sense. If you don't do dumb shit, people aren't going to say dumb shit about you.
Exactly. And that's what change behavior comes from. That reminds me of, I got sick of feeling guilty for the stuff I did. Like I got sick of being disappointing my kids. I got sick of fucking up all the time, and I got sick of feeling like that. So how do I change it? I change the behavior. I see it and I change it. That's how you do it. If you're sick of feeling, don't stuff it. Don't stuff it, change it. Do something different.
And that's like just for me, something I'll share through my personal journey was that, like you said, I got sick of it. I got sick of apologizing for the same things over and
Yeah.
over. And I was in a very close friend's home, and I violated the sanctity and trust of that home, and I was caught dead to right, um, because of technology.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like 4 years ago, I want to say, because October it'll be 3 years I've been sober. So, yeah, about 3.5 years ago, and it was even more embarrassing because one of my children was with me, and I was called out on my action as I was going out the door, and I felt really stupid and cheap about it, and I was drunk. I was intoxicated heavily, and in the weeks to come, I really thought about that person that I hurt and the trust that I violated, and I could have went and said, hey, I'm sorry, but it was kind of meaningless to me at the time because I kept apologizing for the same but different behaviors, if that makes sense. Just doing things while I was drunk and saying sorry and thinking sorry was okay, but until you change the behavior that's causing the action of the apology, that's when it becomes meaningful. So, in order to change the fact of repetitive apologies, I decided to try to be sober for a while. And I sobered up. And 6 months later, I I went and seen that person. I went to them, and the look on their face, I'll never forget it. And I'm just glad it was this really meaningful friendship, not just one, but two. And I apologized to that person, and they asked, well, what took you so long? And I explained to them, I said, well, I was drinking at the time that happened. I said, and if I was still drinking, my apology, I don't think would have had as much meaning as doing what I can to change behaviors, as to not to um, engage in those things anymore. So that was like a big realization for me.
Yeah, and doesn't that feel good to just be able to say that sorry and let it go?
It does, and to know you're not going to get drunk and do something stupid for another something.
And then all those little changes that we make, that's how we change who we are and become who we want to be. Making those changes of who we used to be. When people say that's the old me, well, that's not me anymore. That person, but I'm proud of who I am today because I'm not like that anymore. So I'm proud of you, Faye. Good job, man.
Yeah. So I'm proud of you, sister.
Well, shoot, time to get some zucchini bread on whatever. I don't know. I've never made it before. I'm gonna try it though. But
I gotta get a Raptors license. I could fly an eagle down there to grab
some wild rice.
I have some bananas. I need to make some banana bread with this, but I don't think I've ever made banana bread, so I'm not sure.
Well, fry that wild rice with the eagle, and then I'll cook some zucchini bread on this, and you can send that back up there.
Alrighty.
Alrighty then.
Sure. Well, it's been good again, Chen. Be with
Yeah.
families, happy, healthy, safe. Got some food in their belly. It's getting cold. I hope everybody's finding their way to some warm places here. Yeah, prayers for everybody out there who needs them, those who are grieving, at, those who are addicted, those who are in hospitals, um, all those people in recovery. Keep on recovering. Hope to hear from people soon in the future, and hopefully one of these days we'll get a live guest on here.
Yes.
So people like start building up themselves to join in and be a part of what we got going on here.
Exactly. Heck yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. We're only a couple months in on this. It takes consistency, commitment.
You're helping me with some of those things because that is my downfall.
Well, I appreciate.
So,
Yeah, I got you, man. Which
love you, sister. Appreciate you.
I love you too.
Peace out, everybody. Go government.
All right, talk to you later. Talking with us tonight and joining us in our conversation. If you have any thoughts or ideas that you want to share about this topic we discussed tonight, a little controversial, but these are things that need to be talked about, and to bring it up, we need just sustainable ideas. Can't think of the word, but yes, we need answers, sustainable answers. Sustainable systems are dying, and it's sad. It's sad to watch, and it hurts. Change behaviors, becoming aware, being nice. Just be nice to each other, kind, respectful. But yeah, so that's, like I said, it's a big subject, lots to talk about. So we're gonna be talking about it tomorrow and Friday, and if we go into the weekend, we'll go into the weekend also too. And the link's gonna be on the screen for anybody that wants to join a conversation. But I love all you guys. Peace, love, 100% respect, and make good choice. Have a good night. Be safe and enjoy your dinner. I might get on this bread. I gotta get on some bread. So.